This holiday season, we all wish for hope and healing. Children and families who spend their holidays at the hospital deserve a reason to believe in first steps, in giggles, high fives, and hugs. For 150 years, Children's National Hospital has provided world-class care and groundbreaking research. Please donate today to help patients and healthcare heroes this holiday season. Visit childrensnational.org/holiday. That's childrensnational.org/holiday.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.
That long day behind you, good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, then a bashful smile in your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and let us stories your ear. Cause we're the talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to the tavern. And no, Andrea, that wasn't an echo. That was Cogsley stuttering as he sings our intro music. He's just having a night of it, I guess. I think it's... What's that, Kev?
Been on the source already.
Well, he disappeared for about 24 hours yesterday till, mid-afternoon today. So I think he might have been on a bender or hooked up with somebody, and he's still recovering. Okay, tonight's topic on the tavern is going to be, I'm debating which topic I want to go with first. Let's go ahead and start with Skynet. We're going to talk about Skynet in this episode. And I need everybody to know this is an adult channel and podcast with adult topics and humor and so on and so forth. We're not here to offend you, but if that's what you like, we're happy to help. So, beyond that, I am Travis Sivart, host and other things. General good guy and asshole all around. I am have my vices today of rum and coke and a nice Gordo CAO Brasilia Amazonia. It's a cigar that I'm looking forward to lighting up here any moment. Now, who to pick? Let's move over and let Andrea go next.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Okay, Andrea in the chat here. My vices are a little bowl of peanut butter M&Ms and tea, of course. So, who to pick? How about our baby shark?
Hi, I'm Baby Shark, also known as Chris. I am one of the OG co-hosts from back in the day when we went to the internets. But yeah. That's me.
I was worried we were going to have to call you Baby Shark the whole episode.
I can do that. What's your advice?
Andrea can do that.
Yeah, your vice.
The rest you got to work up to that.
What's your vice?
Tonight I am drinking a rare vintage of Mott's unfiltered apple juice because I am on antibiotics and cannot drink the alcohol.
Antibiotics.
I mean, I'd like the kidney infection to go away. So, there's that. Kevin!
Why, thank you, kind sir. I am Kevin, coming live to you from England at an ungodly hour of the morning, where I'm currently smoking hand-rolled drum tobacco and sipping on a Trevento Argentinian Malbec, of which I have a copious store. Don't worry.
Rub your mic for me, Kevin. Do it again, please. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, you leaned back and you got a lot quieter than everything pre-show, so I'm like, oh, darn it. We forgot to check that again. Well, you fix that and we'll let Ed take...
Let me hand over to Ed.
Hey, I'm Ed, the black man. They saved me for last. My vice tonight is watermelon bold rock. Notice what I did there, right?
Out of white guilt, I'm going to say we saved the best for last.
Yeah, we did, because it's Ed.
Or the badassest, one of the two, we don't know. Okay, so tonight's topic... Oh, first I want to let everybody know who's listening to the podcast right now. Welcome to the tavern. We do have a live and interactive audience right here in the tavern with us, and we're going to be reading off their comments and their questions and other such things. So if you hear me ding the bell, it means I want to read some comments. If otherwise, we might do it without the bell. Now, for our live and interactive chat folks hanging out right here, we will be reading your comments, answering your questions, and so on, but as long as they're either A, terribly entertaining, or B, relevant. So if we miss something, forgive us. We can't get to them all every time. Other than that, tonight's topic is Skynet. So, we're all familiar, I would hope, with Skynet from Terminator. Basically, the satellite system that triggered the takeover of the machines and so on. Beyond that, I think Nova said, today's Vice, hand-rolled American Spirit and chocolate from the UK, and then said, hi, beautiful people. So there we go.
Hi.
I'm wondering if I need to maybe get Cogsley an aspirin right there. Could be. So anyhow...
Is it a coincidence that on an episode about Skynet, our artificial chatbot has started acting erratically?
Fair point.
You guys remember a few years back when we did the government surveillance episode, and all the way through we kept having tech issues, and Ed saw a strange black van at the end of his drive? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We don't talk about that.
Or
oh shit!
When we did the Halloween scary stuff we've experienced episode, something fell off behind the wall when Andrea was telling her story that had been up there for like 3 years. It's Can we do an episode where we talk exclusively about horror stories involving single malt whiskey and pussy? Or maybe I just want to do a field experiment. Can we talk about finding large amounts of money buried in the yard? Because I think there's actually a chance of that happening here. That's a good idea. Then we can buy single malt whiskey and pussy. That's right. That's right.
We're getting another cat?
God damn it, Kevin. So anyhow, Starlink is Elon Musk's latest project, where he is taking... He already has a couple thousand up, and they're looking at putting up 15,000 more, and I'm sure more beyond that, dinner-sized plate satellites in low orbit to basically blanket the planet to deliver broadband internet across the world. Go ahead, Chris.
So there's only around 500 satellites.
So, Chris, you're really going to just argue over the numbers right away. Point is, broadband across the world. There was 1,500 launched the other day, this week or something. There were 600 or something on top of what's already up there. The point is, it's a buttload.
Yes.
It depends on the butt.
Well,
True. Go on, Chris.
It's there were 450 or so satellites. This week they launched another 1,100 or something like that.
So there's 1,500 now?
The rights to put up to 42,000, I think, is what the current number is actually.
15,000 by 2022.
Right, but they're real close to that now, and then they in the future, within the next 20 years or so, have the ability to put up to another, get the total number up to 42,000 satellites.
Gotcha. Well, they're saying within 7 years it'll be maxed out anyway, so I'm sure they'll need it or an upgrade or something.
So all I'm hearing from this is, has anybody seen Kingsman?
It's funny you should say that. I thought about that earlier.
Great movie
That's
if you
what
have
I'm
it, by the way.
Flashes of.
Another great role by Sam Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Skynet.
That's the topic, folks. Have a great night.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andrea. I think it's always the immediate worry, isn't it? When you talk about any kind of global network. Because you can argue the internet's global, but the issue is obviously that people are aware vaguely, even if you're not technically savvy, of roughly how the internet works. So we are all aware that there are routers and servers, and and there are points in a network. The more you start to talk about the concept of a global network with everyone being attached to one thing, the more your brain starts to panic about what happens if there's a virus, what happens if someone hacks it. Then it's not just Microsoft got hacked or Facebook got hacked, it's everybody in the world got hacked. So yeah, I think it's a natural response.
I'm pretty safe, even if they do hack me.
I mean,
Why is that?
Free cell phones.
I'll buy.
Free cell phones.
well, and that's the thing. Like they're with this service of Starlink. Like it's not even. You have to pay extra to be able to connect your mobile phone to their service, which they are then relaying already to existing networks. So it's not even like until Elon Musk decides he wants to come out with his own cellular network and service like that, you'll get the same sort of service that you would currently now with internet. So yeah, because it's like, I think it's like a $1,400 initial thing to get their kit right now, and then it's like $100 a month.
It's $500 to get the installation kit, and $100 a month.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't have $500 for the installation kit.
Still cheaper than going with HughesNet or whatever satellite services out there.
But that chunk of money right there is more than a car payment.
Yeah, but this kind of toy aren't for it's for the rich tech nerds who are like, I gotta have the newest and coolest and most expensive new technology.
No, this is for us. This is so I can run a podcast. This is so kids in rural areas can go to school.
Yeah, I get what you're saying ultimately, but I think what Chris is saying is right now it's nothing more than a rich boy's toy until it becomes much more widely utilized.
Here's why I disagree with that one. Because it's still cheaper than HughesNet satellite. So people in rural areas, and HughesNet is absolute crap, super crap. Like the numbers here from this is less than cable or whatever, but it far surpasses anything coming out of HughesNet or any other satellite system out there. And $500, it might sound a lot, but when you have a 2-income family, $500, I know people spend that eating out every weekend. They're not rich. They just blow a lot of money on stupid shit. And I'm sure there's going to be a credit plan. So this is not a rich man's toy. I mean, if you're going to give up your $130 cable payment because we all have streaming services now and you won't need that, or if you can get cable. I can't even get cable in this area.
No cable, yeah.
So, and that monthly payment.
Andrea.
What's that?
Well, so, $500 doesn't seem like that much in the long run. If they have a payment plan, kind of like people with their $1,500 phones, to make it a little easy to get, I could see that for like the average family or household. Because people spend a lot of money on phones. $500 ain't shit.
I mean, I watch people at work just working at Amazon, $15 an hour, spending $500 on a a day out. They get a new pair of shoes, spend $150 eating out, and go do something else, and it's a $500 day.
Oh, to be young again.
Yeah, I know. It's different when you have kids, but look at what parents spend on kids nowadays for Christmas. An average of like $700 per child.
Oh, yeah.
And I could be off. Somebody could Google that and totally call me on that one. It's a lot.
I know it happens, and I'm just worried about the money side of it. But go on about the technical awesomeness of what's going to happen.
I was going to say a lot of that, like spending that much on kids now is kids want iPhones and like those fancy technical tablets and devices instead of, the toys we had that at the time weren't cheap. But again, I'll take the little van and the Ninja Turtles. Come on, like that's what I want to play with. Give me my Ninja Turtle van.
Right. Which on eBay might be $500, so keep an eye out for it. Yeah. It's relative, with, I wouldn't say, the cost of living has increased, but the cost of living wages have not. So, things are inflation-wise comparable, but our pay rate is not.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so if we get a network computer to deliver information across the world, what else could that bring along? Nothing bad, right?
So, let me throw this out there. With all the quarantines and all the things, and people, it's kind of a norm to work from home, do school from home, do everything from home. Do you think with this network making it more accessible to some of the remote areas, that will be the norm? They'll just stop doing what they did before and keep it like this, where people can work from home more or do school?
I think now that businesses have been forced to do that kind of thing by COVID, even if they don't adopt that as a carry-on thing once this pandemic lifts, a lot of companies are going to bear that in mind as an alternative work strategy, either for the resurgence of something else like this, or for some companies will have found it a strain to adapt to this and have their staff working from home, but others might have found financial benefit from not having to have staff come into work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if a company's capable of adapting and shifting to that business model, then yes, I think you might actually see some companies go, well, hang on, if we can do this and everyone's actually being as productive from home, then screw having concrete factories. Let's just hook everyone up via a network, get rid of all these material costs. Yeah, I think it could happen.
I think so too, but also in the same time, I know a lot of those companies that, require you to come in and do your 40 hours a week, even though it's been proven that like everyone has to work at home. They are still doing their job and actually being slightly more productive, are still going to be like, no, y'all got to come into work and sit in your little cubicle and do all of this. And it's like, but the pandemic has shown us that we don't have to.
Right.
If I may, I recently read a report and a study on this exact topic. There are three philosophies: totally work from home, totally work in the office, and the hybrid. What they're finding with the pandemic is company culture is disappearing, and they're worried about this. Now, this is partially propaganda and whatever the nationalism equivalent is to rah, 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 our company. But it also has to do with direct interacting and face-to-face with your coworkers to create that actual bond between you, as well as sucking up to the boss to get the better jobs or assignments or whatever. So what they're finding as they're doing the hybrid and some people are working from home, they're actually feeling like a redheaded stepchild or a second-class citizen because they don't get that one-on-one FaceTime anymore to garner that natural human favoritism that happens everywhere all the time. So, yeah, some companies have definitely gone to, fuck, we could do it all from home. Sweet, let's do that. And some are like, screw that, because we cannot lord over our employees. We want them in our cubicles, as Chris said. Then there's that middle ground where, maybe we let you work at home 4 days a week, and 1 day a week you got to come in for the meetings and the things and the things.
Right, you're still just going to do the same 40% amount of work that you do, whether you're at home at work. So,
Wait a minute, what was that?
40%.
Shit, I have been doing it wrong for a long fucking time.
You've been doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And Sam,
that's the problem. I would say with my work, I have to do 80% of it in the building. Like I can't not be in the building to do my job. The other 20%, I can totally 100% sit at home at my desk, because otherwise I'm sitting at my desk at work. I thought about working from home today, but I don't have a printer here, and I needed to print off a bunch of stuff to do work.
You got a 3D
So I
printer.
went into work, printed the things, and sat at my desk for the rest of the day. But I think for the majority of our marketing and development departments, they haven't set foot in one of our buildings in over a year, and they're doing just fine. And we have those, now they're bi-weekly staff happy hours, so everyone can get together and talk about all of the shit that is unwork related.
Now,
if you want to have.
Are those required?
They are not required. The last one was required, but they normally are not required.
Yeah, because I'd be like, wait, you want me to get up and leave my house, go to a bunch of people that I don't socialize with normally to drink? Ugh.
Well, yeah, but they're all on Zoom, so you just get to drink at home.
Oh,
the problem is I'm still working on Fridays when the Zoom happy hour starts. So I can't even join in with all of my coworkers who have stopped working early on a Friday to get together and drink, because I'm still sitting at my desk in the theater.
Crying. I'm just gonna type a message in chat. I'll be there soon. It's
But bringing us back around to our topic for the evening, one of the big problems I have with StarNet is actually astronomy and being able to see the stars. They have fucked up a good portion of our ability to actually view space and take long exposure pictures, which was what we need to do to find exoplanets, for example, because we monitor light loss coming in from stars when things are passing in front of stars.
Right.
And with the satellites, it is completely destroying our ability to detect those dips, because we are seeing, the satellites flash by all of the cameras.
Now,
essentially, it's destroying terrestrial astronomy.
Even though they're the size of a dinner plate, it's interfering that much?
Oh, absolutely, because they're white.
I believe they also do have a
reflect
blinking light on them,
tomorrow.
which you won't see with the naked eye, but with the telescope it would definitely. Or
Correct.
a long exposure, I believe it would.
Yes. There are several pictures. That really famous, why can't I think of their name? They're in Hawaii. They're on the top of that volcano in Hawaii. And have taken some amazing pictures. They were like, this is the first 3 nights after Elon Musk has launched his first 10 satellites. And it was like a half hour or 45 minutes exposure, and you had 6 giant streaks of the satellites crossing by in front of the thing. And it's like, our project that we've been doing the last 6 months is now ruined because we have no research data from tonight because of the satellites and have to recalibrate everything.
I thought these satellites were stationary, not in rotation.
They are not in geosynchronous orbit. That takes far too much coordination to do. And even in geosynchronous orbit, they're still falling, because that's just how gravity works. But
what are you going to say, Andrea?
Nothing. I'm on mute. I'm just listening.
I thought you were saying something.
Listening to me rant about astronomy.
I'm just making faces. I'm like, well, that's okay. Messing up the pictures.
Yeah.
It raises an interesting point, though. I mean, are we sacrificing long-term scientific expansion and endeavor for short-term expediency?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a risk in doing that, isn't there? Yeah.
Well,
Well, and
I know, scientifically speaking, I mean, the argument, playing devil's advocate for a minute, you can argue that you can create algorithms that will detect and account for the passage of the satellites. But the trouble is, it's going to cause interference, like you say. So even if it doesn't wipe out projects, with the example that you've given, it's going to cause interference. It's going to slow down research. So we gain a benefit now from having this wonderful connectivity, but given the long-term arguments about the viability of Earth as a survivable planet, are we gambling an awful lot about the potential future of humanity for the sake of being able to get access to Yahoo faster?
I think we are, but only until the machines take over. Then they'll be taking the pictures from orbit, and they'll kill us.
It becomes a redundant point of view, admittedly, at that point. But before then, we have several other phases to go through, and I'd just like to take this opportunity once more to say that I welcome our new Chinese overlords.
There we go.
well, and that's like part of, Elon Musk's like rush to get up to Mars by like 2030 or whatever it is. Like he's trying to monopolize on being the first, company and person to get us to Mars. But like part of that is like, well, we're destroying this planet, so I might as well get the fuck out of Dodge while I can.
Am I the only person who thinks that mankind's eventual repopulation of the stars in the future will be horrendously cheapened if it's achieved by capitalism rather than scientific endeavor?
I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
that goes back to my
Don't get
theory.
me wrong, it'll still be kick-ass to be able to go and walk on the surface of Mars, but
Yeah, we'll be doing it out of, shipping containers. Not beautiful bubbles that we could see through. And it goes back to my theory of the two or multiple types of mental wiring, genetic wiring towards being the alpha by dominance, whether it's financial, physical, or otherwise, or being able to work together as a group to move forward. Thank you for those bits. Appreciate it. Raise our glass to those.
X500.
cheers.
Yeah.
Showing the booty. But yeah, if we could learn to work together, it'd be a different story. If we're not just doing things for the sake of self-advancement individually, and whether that individual is a single person or a company or a country or whatever, one entity of some level or another, we have a chance of cleaning up our planet and stopping doing stuff and populating other places in the right way. But right now, if we continue with our path, nope, we're fucking over our planet and we'll fuck over the next one too.
I mean, we have, less than 7 years to make drastic environmental changes before...
They've been saying that for 100 years.
I mean, this is an argument for a whole separate show, but I can see both sides of that coin. You're right, Ed, they have. And the goalposts do seem to shift continuously, but then you kind of weigh that up against looking at humanity and the way we've suddenly begun very, very rapidly on an almost exponential curve to consume vast amounts of resources in order to maintain daily life. And you do have to wonder if we aren't pushing our fucking luck a little bit in terms of time scale.
You know, Ed says they've been saying that for 100 years, but look at how much shit he's got stowed for when something happens.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
So he's not
I ain't
oblivious.
stupid.
That's right. They have been saying it.
Easy to be blasé about it when you have that many pickled and canned goods.
I figure sooner or later some motherfucker's going to get it right.
Yet since human history began, people have been predicting the end of the world. It is something built into human psychology to go, I'm living in the worst time ever, and we're all going to die. It's wired into us. But beyond that, yeah, we have survived this long. We have amazing advancements, but we do have an amazing amount of trash that is not renewable. And again, I throw this philosophy at you've each heard this at some point in time. Why not clean it up? If we're wrong and we're not rolling down the shitter right now, cleaning it up isn't going to hurt anything. It's only going to help anyway.
This holiday season, we all wish for hope and healing. Children and families who spend their holidays at the hospital deserve a reason to believe in first steps, in giggles, high fives, and hugs. For 150 years, Children's National Hospital has provided world-class care and groundbreaking research. Please donate today to help patients and healthcare heroes this holiday season. Visit childrensnational.org/holiday. That's childrensnational.org/holiday.
We're rolling down the shitter every day, okay? The still line from Battlestar Galactica, it has happened before, it will happen again. I don't think whatever's around the corner, sure, we might not be helping,
Right.
but I don't think whatever's around the corner we're going to prevent.
Yeah, I think if science is right, we're already too far along because they have moved the goalpost multiple times. And if it's that flexible, well, we're going to get a big surprise. We're going to wake up one day and 5 years later, the world's going to be very different when a series of events kick off. Or we'll be here 200 years from now with people going, we got to clean up our act. And somebody else going, they've been saying that for 100 years.
300 years now.
So, yeah, there's...
If it's in a short space of time, at least we'll still be alive to sit here making a podcast that says, we told you so.
Right.
Fuckers.
All right, mark the date. In 7.5 years, once we've passed that, it's too late.
That's pretty much just doubling the time we've been on the air. So yeah, this year...
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess this year will actually be 9 years in October.
9 years, oh yeah.
And that's with the live broadcast.
And
Counting
all of
the...
us still only 21 years old.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, I wasn't 21 when we started.
Hey, you know what
I was close.
what I just realized is Zazzle was born the year the tavern went live instead of pre-recorded. It's our little tavern, baby. Anyhow, for anybody that doesn't know, Zazzle is one of our cats here in the tavern. I feel like Chris needs a cat.
Yeah.
Are you allergic?
Yeah, I'm not sure Chris feels it with the same enthusiasm you do.
Don't get me wrong, I prefer cats to dogs, and I love other people's cats. However,
Right.
I love other people's cats too.
Not in a hurry to be owned by one, no.
no. I do not like things sleeping on my bed with me, especially things that want to crawl in my face. It never ends well for them.
Okay, look, I said you were a guest in my house. I could do what I want, but I did apologize.
The other morning, Chris, I woke up and it'd been a particularly cold night, and we get quite a lot of violent windstorm here on because we're on an island. For those of you who don't know where I live. Anyway, it'd been a really rough, stormy night. I woke up at about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. I thought, why am I awake? Something's clearly woken me, because I'm one of those sleepers, you know. If I come awake before a certain time in the morning,
Thank you, Gary.
something is up. Thanks, Gary. So I'm laid in bed on my side, eyes closed, but sort of senses like going, what's going on around me? Why have I woken? And I'm aware there's this vibration. And I'm like, has the cat got on the bed with me? Which is very unusual for him, but occasionally when it's really horrendous outside and he gets a bit scared. So I look around, no, I can't see. I open my eye, look up on top of the duvet, you can't see the cat anywhere. But I can still hear this sound. And in the end, I end up getting my phone from my bedside table, flicking the light on and sort of panning it around. In the end, I lifted the duvet. And because I've been laid on my side and I'm quite broad-shouldered, obviously that leaves a gap as the duvet starts. And my cat had not only got up on the bed, he'd crawled under this little gap in the end of the duvet and had crawled down and was in the bottom of my bed, in behind my knees. So yeah, it's not just a case of finding them on your bed, it's a case of being shoved out of your bed by them if you're inconveniently in the way of the warmest spot in the house.
Yep, no thank you.
If you are the warmest spot in the house.
Yeah.
It's a...
I do run a little warm, so yes, that would be a common occurrence.
There you go, Andrea. See, that's why more of them me than you. I just run warmer than you.
No, because I know they know I don't like them on me. It's like, nah. Beside my feet, that's it.
Yeah, I think
that's where we all
as
sleep.
a cat owner, I will say there is this weird. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I'm intrigued. There's this weird misconception that dogs are intelligent and trainable, and that cats are completely stubborn and completely untrainable. But they're not really. They do learn patterns of behavior over periods of time. Do you find that with your older cats, that they understand certain gestures or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the ones that are under 2 years old are just fucking morons. But
Steve,
with age...
Yeah, I would argue in their defense that it's just that they haven't had the appropriate length of time to learn pattern behavior, because they are slower than dogs to pick that kind of thing up.
Well, I have had young cats. When you don't have multiple cats, it's much easier to train your cat. So I have had a cat that would fetch. I would have a cat that would play tag. I could chase her to one room, poker, run to the next room. She'd chase me and get me, and back and forth we'd go. So yeah,
I can't remember if you guys saw much of it, because he tends to play up amongst company. But with Fred, if I click my fingers down here by the floor, he'll jump down off wherever he is. If I want him to get off the furniture or off someone's lap or something like that, and if I click my fingers up in the air like that, he'll jump up and pay attention for food. So yeah, I mean, you can teach them to exhibit trained behavior. They won't work on command like a dog will, because they don't understand the vocal part of it.
Go to Key West. There's a guy who works on oh my god, I forget the wharf, where every evening they have performers come out and do their magic shows and their music. There's one guy that works with stray cats, and he trains them to do tricks, not just like sit up, but jump through hoops, leap up boxes, press things, and he'll have 12 to 20 stray cats, not cats he brings from home, though I think he does bring a few of his. And yeah, he feeds them. They're getting food every time, but they will learn these tricks on the street, and he will do a 15, 20-minute show, and people tip him to watch these cats jump through hoops, literally. So it can be done, but you have to have the right motivation. And most house cats have no fucking motivation.
Yeah, you need the right kind of threat or bribe.
Yeah, tomato. Zazzle is great because she definitely understands more than the older. She's older, she's a female. I found that females tend to pick up on things a little quicker than males quite often. In cats also. And, what, Andrea?
I said,
Oh.
Mm.
Well, until they hit a certain age, because Vinyarin, she is old as hell, and she does not give a shit. She does what she wants.
Same for people.
But she's like 19, so.
So with the
Yeah.
with the Starlink, what's a best case and a worst case scenario that we can come up with? Anywhere from, robots taking over and killing us all to, world peace. Andrea?
I got one. Going on this previous conversation, the good thing that can come from this is cute cat videos can be seen by everyone around the world.
It's true. It's true.
See?
And not to mention porn delivered more efficiently with less buffering.
Oh, that would be nice, because...
Oh yeah.
Because you don't have to finish that sentence. As far as I'm concerned, that's just a sentence.
I think everybody finished it. Even if you did finish it, we'd all be like filling in the blank on our own anyway.
Yeah.
It's that reminds me of the episode we did about movies we want, which I won't go into it yet, but
Wait.
it's
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that the worst case scenario for it is as bad as people's paranoia would make us think it could be.
never is, but go on.
No, I mean, we mentioned at the top of the show about the natural paranoia for being worried about exposure because of a global system affecting everybody. So there's this sense that we're all going down. Does that make sense? You know, rather than there's a degree of separation, which means it might be me, but it might be the other guy, which makes it easier for me to turn a blind eye to the risk.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced it would necessarily be that bad. We've heard all kinds of horror stories and panic stories about all kinds of security and internet-based systems that have been developed since the invention of the internet, and very few of them have actually led to catastrophic level abuses of those systems. There have been breaches of security, there have been problems, but no one's still talking about the moment Microsoft Messenger being hacked brought the world down. So,
or Y2K.
Yeah, you know, but that's another good example, though. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It comes back to that point we were making about this maybe slight paranoia about the way people perceive it. Are we so worried about damage to ourselves that we're over-emphasizing the danger of everyone being connected to a network? Because the positives could be incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Could be.
Well, I think people definitely look at a lot more what can happen to me than what could happen to them. You know, if it happens to them, it happens to them. That's a shame. Let me change my Facebook picture to put a flag over my face or something to support them. But if it happens
And
to
click
me, it's
like
horrible.
and pray.
That's right. It's this is no different than when somebody who's not an earthquake prone area has an earthquake in their area and they're like, oh my god, and everybody else is like, calm down, it was only a 5.2 or a 4.3. And it's relative though, folks, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But how easy are we making it for it to happen to me and to happen to them and everybody else? I mean, 40 years ago, you had your social security number on your driver's license. You went to the store to buy something, you wrote down your damn credit card number and your expiration date and your full name on this piece of paper, and it was floating around all around out there everywhere. And we didn't worry about it happening to us. And then all of a sudden, it started happening to us. And now we have more protections in place than we ever had before, and it's happening to more and more and more and more and more of us. So if we design something like this, are we making it easier for it to happen to more and more and more and more of us?
This is a fun conversation.
Yeah, and I think that there is the question, because it has become easier for us to keep track of our data and move money and that sort of thing. So people are finding more ways to go about to taking your money or other people's money, because it is, the convenience factor of being able to keep your credit card online so that you don't have to enter it every single time. But it's out there. It's not actually ever been really safe. It's just people are able to take money from people easier now, which is why most banks and that credit card companies have if your information gets stolen and you can prove it, we'll give you your money back. It just happens with such occurrence because we've made it easier to have access to those numbers. And more people have credit cards than they did 20, 30 years ago.
Kevin?
I was going to make a point, but Chris covered it there.
Oh, very good. It's I remember
And
back in the 1930s how easy it was to rob a bank, and people wouldn't recognize you, and not everybody had a camera. And then we got electronic systems in the late 60s, early 70s, and then we got digital systems in the 90s, and now we have constant recording of everything everywhere. So it's funny to say it's easier to rob people now than then. It is
Easier to get caught now than it was then.
well, it's a steeper learning curve, but once you conquer that learning curve, the opportunities are a bit endless. I mean, even if you went and pulled, oh, I'm only going to take $1 from somebody's account, but I'm going to do it to 3.2 billion people.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so, oh, what are you going to charge me for $1? Oh, put me in jail, huh? Yeah, but I did it, you know, 1 billion times. So there is that, and I make the joke about, oh, they wouldn't get much from me. They don't have to. If they hit enough people for $1, let alone $20 or $200, now what do you do?
To be honest, if you're talking about the kind of global network that this has the potential to become, you're not even talking in terms of dollars. You're talking in terms of less than a cent each. Is a phenomenal amount of money
Yeah.
to a single individual.
Yeah, it's let alone if they take Bitcoin.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, you're talking trillion. What? I mean, someone would have to Google it. I don't know, but however many trillion people we now have on the face of the planet, or whatever it is, it's a ridiculous number of population that's exponentially soaring every year. You could take half a cent, a completely undetectable amount that 99.9% of people would never detect,
Andrea?
and become horrendous, you know, and have more money than you'd ever need to spend.
Well, that's the point I was going to bring up. A lot of people don't even keep track of their money down to the penny. I do.
Right.
I do.
So there's a couple of times when there's like 10 cents missing from my bank, and I call the bank. It's fraudulent stuff, and they return it.
It's half
A
my
lot of
fucking
people don't-
balance. Yeah.
Mhm.
And 10 cents is half of what you have in the bank. It's important.
Yeah.
It's not easy to rob me blind. I'm already pretty fucking nearsighted when it comes to that.
As the man who got paid this morning, I feel your pain.
Yeah. As I keep checking my bank for my next deposit.
Yeah, it's very well checked.
I just keep checking it for the Malbec fund.
You know what else I get paranoid about? When there's a deposit that I don't recognize. And I start to panic going, where the fuck did that come from? I mean, thank you for the money, but I don't care if it's $7.89. I need to know it came from my royalties from the UK, from my
Right.
books. Or, yeah, Kev.
Here's an interesting point. And you know what we were just saying about the possibility of multiple people being accessed and hacked by the vulnerability of a global system where everyone's connected. So what about the potential for something going the opposite way? You read about these things like, oh, this bank accidentally paid this guy $1,000 extra into his account, you know, and he went off and had a spending spree, and now they've got to, you know, they've said, oh, they'll forgive him for it because it was their mistake or whatever. What happens if you have a computer banking system that accidentally credits every single person in the world with a cent?
Mm-hmm. Collapse.
And the next morning you wake up and your entire financial system for the entire planet has undergone a catastrophic collapse.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw
I mean,
that movie too.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, that was off the top of my head.
Is anybody else getting Superman 3 flashbacks with Richard Pryor? You know, which
Has
by the
anyone
way,
else got a notepad? Because if this became a movie, I could be missing out on $1 here.
everybody could be missing out on
I
$1.
don't think we are going to get Terminator style global takeover.
Mm-mm.
I feel like if anything, we're gonna hit more of the Mad Max kind of,
Yeah.
you know, collapse. It's far more viable than a Terminator Matrix style. The computers have
yeah.
taken over.
If computers take over, it's going to do it by wiping out 99% of the population through like a brain embolism or something.
Right.
Yeah, we're all suddenly going to develop a What's that, Andrea?
Again, have you seen The Kingsman?
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm talking slower, over 2 years, just with minor beaming. Suddenly, you develop a tumor, a clot, and people over 10 years, we lose a huge amount of the population. I also think this is off topic, and Kevin, I'll pass it to you. I know you said something, so I think there is a good chance within the next 50 years we're going to see a huge and in a small period of time burst of suicides because of the psychology of our society and the way we're forming things. And yes, mental health is coming out more and it's more important, but because of sci-fi reasons, I think we're going to see a rash of suicides where like 2 to 12% of the population commit suicide within a 3 to 5 year period. Worldwide. It will be concentrated mostly in first world countries, by the way.
Makes sense. People who actually are more affected by the reliance on and availability of technology.
And Gary here says, sorry, Andrea, I'll hand it to you in a moment. Gary says that can actually be achieved with microwave very quickly, the embolism. Yeah, this is technology that does exist. We've recently had a nationalist or a national figure who a country was investigated because they possibly did this to a political figure from another country. Andrea?
Oh, wow. I was going to say with the suicide thing, it might be because technology is more accessible and you can reach more people, and the cyberbullying and things like that.
Yep.
First world problems. Go ahead.
And with everybody having to be coddled and not have to deal with things, or bullying not being allowed, or so they can't handle it when they're criticized. That's what I'm seeing.
I agree with you there, because it will be psychological reasons they do it, and largely human animals are wired where they have to be challenged. They have to face difficulties. Otherwise, they start creating problems in their head that may actually be a problem, but we blow it up. This is in our psychology, to turn that shit up when we don't have a real life challenge to face, like going out and farming the field or whatever. We create issues and problems in our head. And because of that, if we get so... We all remember the Mouse Utopia experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to briefly go over that, because you all nodded, there was an experiment back in somewhere between the 40s and 60s. A guy took a huge mouse habitat, put in so many hundred of mice. It had like 2,000 max population. As the population grew, and no predators, no challenges, food, housing, everything supplied. Before they even hit max population, the mice stopped breeding. The mice started showing psychological issues. And the final generation, before the whole colony died off, basically sat there grooming themselves. They looked smart, healthy, and intelligent, but they were actually dumb and lazy and wouldn't even have sex. Then people have went.
They didn't need to, because they didn't need to interact with all the other mice because they got used to just interacting with themselves.
Right, and the food and etc. So, and a lot of people are like, well, could that relate to? Yes, that could relate to humans.
Yeah.
We can look around right now and go, wait, is that what you're talking about?
You can see, yeah, you're right. You can see that behavior right now. You're not talking about science fiction for the future 50 years from now. You can look in your neighbor's window and see it.
Yeah, I get in trouble for that, Kevin.
Or in your own lounge.
Yeah.
That's right, your own window. Andrea, what were you going to say?
I was saying we can't look in our neighbor's window.
Well, this is something, me personally, as life is changing, I'm like, I need to create my own challenges that aren't me just sitting in my own head and stewing in my own juices. I need to create my own purpose, my own reason, that I get out of bed and do things. And this is why I do this show. This is why I write books. This is why all these other things, because I'm creating this mountain challenge that I want to climb. And it gives me a reason every day. Gary says that's why old people are nosy. And I think what Gary's saying there is that is older people finding reasons to exist. They're finding a purpose, and it's putting their fucking nose in other people's business. But it's a purpose. They become the town gossiper. This is why so many military and police and other people who have these structured lives, once they retire, they're dead in 6 months to 2 years. So, and that's why computers will kill us. It's because they can make life too easy where you don't have to interact with each other. Everything is delivered to you. You have no reason to go function in a day-to-day life. We don't want them to be intelligent enough to do it. They don't need to be. We will do this shit to ourselves when we're making our lives better and better and better, but now I'm depressed.
Well, there's one thing about living out here in the middle of nowhere. We don't have delivery. We have to go interact. They don't do a lot of things like they do in the cities and the more populated areas. So we have to leave the fucking house.
And we do complain about it, by the way. I'm not saying it's better that way. I wouldn't mind a little delivery.
Yeah, put on pants and leave the house. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Not when I can stand on my porch to take a pizza with just a shirt on. A long shirt.
And socks. Gotta have socks.
What?
Gotta keep those toes warm.
Only if I'm wearing sandals with them.
Oh, absolutely.
You monster.
Sock garters. Andrea finds sock garters sexy. Okay. I have 3 pairs of sock garters, by the way, just so you know. So, okay, we got a couple minutes left. Anybody got some closing thoughts on this? Give a wave at the camera, and I'll just go around. Closing thoughts.
We're doomed. I'm done.
There you go. Ed's covered his. Andrea, you got anything?
Soon, cat videos to everyone.
Chris?
I think it has potential to help a lot of people, but I think in the long run it's going to end up hurting us more.
And let's raise a glass real quick to Dave, throwing his bits around. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy.
Kevin, you're almost done with that. Good thing the show's almost done. What's your closing thoughts?
I think it's wise to approach this kind of situation with caution rather than open optimism. And the reason I say that is, if you look at the history of the way humanity has approached other technological leaps, a lot of people will just dive at it without any caution. So when this thing goes live, a lot of your friends, a lot of people will they're gonna use this thing. This is gonna happen. So I think the way to approach any coming situation like this is to think about what could go wrong, not what can we get from it. If we're gonna get something good from it, that'll come, because people are gonna use this network. What we need to think about is what could go wrong if we've fucked up when we think about what we can do with this.
Okay, my closing thoughts are, I'm going to use this as soon as it's available. And here's what could go wrong, is we could broadcast stronger, cleaner, and more often. Cleaner, like broadcast-wise, not language and content, because fuck that. So, yeah, you guys are in danger of more tavern shenanigans and other such things. So, let me do the wrap-up. Hold on, got a big cat ass in my way. I want to thank everybody for hanging out in chat and supporting the channel by throwing bits and subscribing, rating, picking up merchandise that's available. We have the Talk of the Tavern and other show pint glasses and shot glasses and flasks and shirts. Also want to thank everybody for supporting us on Patreon or PayPal or right here by subscribing. Much appreciated. Don't forget to check out Right Night, another podcast done by us here. And if you ever want to write us with your thoughts about the episode you just listened to, or some episodes you'd like to hear us explore and possibly do, let us know and just email us at talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. That's talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. Other than that, we're out of here. Let's see how much Cogsley can stutter while he sings our outro music. Oh, wait, you know what?
Toast.
Toast?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We didn't do an opening toast. I told you guys I'd forget it. It's so let's do this two ways.
Right now.
We're gonna get one from Drunken Cogsley. Cogsley says it's not the daily increase, but daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential.
Would you like butter?
And I'll just go with Kevin's earlier toast of here's to our new robotic overlords. Brought to you
Drink to
by
that.
China. Okay, we're out of here, guys.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Good night. And 110011011001.
You know what? Same about your mother.
Don't forget
Okay?
to join us at the Tad Tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day and steamy dreams every night.
This holiday season, we all wish for hope and healing. Children and families who spend their holidays at the hospital deserve a reason to believe in first steps, in giggles, high fives, and hugs. For 150 years, Children's National Hospital has provided world-class care and groundbreaking research. Please donate today to help patients and healthcare heroes this holiday season. Visit childrensnational.org/holiday. That's childrensnational.org/holiday.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.